gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Walking with J.Beau, an almost daily walking vlog on this beautiful sunny Saturday afternoon. Today is October 5th. The election is in 31 days. Now, typically, we go shooting on Saturdays, which is today. We did not do that this morning. We're going to go tomorrow. The forecast this morning looked a little iffy as far as rain goes. Tomorrow shall be nice. So today, what's interesting is President Trump is going back to Butler, Pennsylvania today. He's going to be speaking in a few hours from now. I'll have my walk done and I will check that out later. We're going to do about 5.5 to 6 miles today. Scheduled guest for the Trump rally today is Elon Musk, who I'm assuming is going to say a few words. RFK Jr. will speak at it. And the family of the victims will be there, as well as the surviving victims. So that should be interesting to watch. Now, one of the other things I wanted to discuss today has to do with the Hurricane Helene response by FEMA. It seems that elected officials are going out of their way trying to tell people that they are doing things very well, things are great. And then on social media, you are seeing the people that actually live there saying the opposite. So who are you going to trust? FEMA? The official government agency where their Department of Homeland Security director was impeached by Congress for incompetence, willful incompetence, I should add, intentionally opening the border, dereliction of duty, and now we are finding out that FEMA doesn't have the money they need because they distributed the money to immigration issues, which of course FEMA is denying. And a whistleblower has come out confirming it. So what does this all mean? Well, it means that nobody trusts our government that's in place now, even less than governments in the past, because of what they've done. That is through their own actions, and we don't have a media that cares to find out any truth. They just care about defending the regime. They're a state-run media, so we can't take anything they say seriously. I don't trust anything the media says. I don't trust what the government says. I will trust the people that are affected. They say FEMA is nowhere to be found and they're not getting help. So I will also trust Elon Musk, who is a CEO of a company, when he says his company employees come to him and say that his Starlink deliveries are being hampered by FEMA. I will tend to believe that first than the official reported story. So that is common sense. That is what people should do. And, you know, the worst thing you can do is trust authority. Whatever happened to the Democrats of old who were never trust authority? Where did that go? I'm never going to trust authority. You can trust if you're willing to verify, but nothing can be verified that FEMA is actually getting anything done except trying to steal credit and make Kamala look good. So they're doing that for politics. Just my opinion. What do I think FEMA is doing? I think they are confiscating goods and help from people like Elon. I don't think Elon's lying. And I think they're doing it for politics so FEMA can take credit for it. And make Kamala and Biden look great in an election year. That's what I think. When the reality is, they were slow to react to this. They shrugged it off because it was only a Category 1 that turned into a tropical once it made landfall. Kamala went to San Francisco to fundraise, and Biden went to the fucking beach. There's video and pictures of him out on a boat on the ocean having a great time while people were drowning and dying. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, yes, it's true. You don't want to have your presidents go into a disaster area right when it happens. It hampers things, it gets in the way. That's not what the people are upset about. They're upset that they went on fucking vacation after hearing about it, didn't leave, didn't do a press conference, did absolutely nothing. FEMA had no press conference. Nobody did anything because they didn't think it was a big deal. It's only fucking North Carolina. Who cares? They're all Trump voters anyway. Fuck them, right? So now you have 200 dead, and this is number is gonna go way up pretty quickly because people living there have said they have seen dead bodies in trees. They've seen dead livestock, animals. You're gonna have entire crops wiped out, farmers' lives decimated. The damage of this is going to be probably the biggest disaster this country's had, bigger than Katrina. And the reason why I say that is thousands of people are still missing, about 2,000 people. 2,000 people last time it was reported by the official news. There's still 2,000 people missing. So now that this is turning into a big deal, and it's an election year, now you have government agencies playing politics. And that really ticks me off, because they should have just done their job from the beginning. So now we're seeing helicopter footage of the damage, people out in their yards with mirrors trying to get the attention of the helicopters. They get no power, no cell phones, they have no phone communications, nothing, no internet, no way to get any information on whether or not people even know what happened to them. So if you can just imagine what that's like. So I sympathize with these people greatly. And I also understand law enforcement's point of view, where a house that used to be there isn't there anymore. And there's no home address on it. And you have people sifting through the rubble. Now, you don't know if they live there or if they're looters. And there's really no way to find out, because chances are people might not have their ID on them. You know, they might have left their wallet upstairs in their bedroom or whatever. And I understand law enforcement's point of view about looters and stuff like that, which, whenever these things happen, is always a problem. So anyway, the point being, our government sucks. They don't know what they're doing. They're not organized. They're incompetent. Alessandro Mayorkas was impeached for incompetence, willful incompetence, and not removed because Chuck Schumer decided to play politics and not even have a Senate trial, just claiming it was partisan, this, that, and the other by Republicans. So this guy was left to be in charge and distribute FEMA funds to immigration issues, and now says they don't have the money for hurricanes. And that was reported in the media, so I'm not making that up. FEMA spent over $1 billion. I think it was estimated between 800 million and 1.1 billion. Regardless, either number is a big one. That was spent by FEMA before this hurricane happened, and now they don't have the funds they need, and they're going to have to ask Congress to come up with more money. So now, instead of just having the money available because they squandered it on political bullshit, they're going to have to ask Congress for more money while people are still stuck in the mud, drowning, and God knows what else is going on there. It's a fucking disgrace. People keep voting for this shit, they deserve what they get. So that's my little rant on that. It's a pile of bullshit is what it is. We got a chance to make things right in November, and I'm happy to say I voted day before yesterday. One of my brothers already voted, and I have an older brother who's gonna wait until election day to go vote, without realizing it really doesn't matter, which it doesn't, not here in Maine. So he can leave himself susceptible to voting day problems if he wants to. But anyway, so I'm going to flip the camera around. Hello everybody. Hope you're enjoying your day today. Hope you check out the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. 5 o'clock today. It's about 1:45 right now here. Mostly overcast today, as you can see. So that kind of stuff really burns my ass, man. It really does. And you got prominent people on the internet who just seem to be oblivious and clueless because they're in their bubble. Frank Luntz is one of them, the pollster and guy that does focus groups. So he doesn't seem to get it when people like us say, you know what, well, we don't trust what the government agencies are telling us. Even if it's true, we don't believe it because they're not believable. So we'll head up this way. My walk in today. What do I believe? I believe FEMA is working for the Biden administration. That's all they care about. They don't care about their job, what they do. And that's evidenced by the border being open, sitting there lying under oath to Congress, which they were caught for. If they were Republicans, they'd be prosecuted for perjury. But they're not, so nobody's going to in D.C. And that's another thing in itself. We have a government that has weaponized the justice system. They're locking up grandmas who walk through the Capitol simply doing what I'm doing now, either videoing a selfie or taking a picture. And their crime was they posted it on social media and got caught. Misdemeanor offense, no big deal, right? Well, anybody that entered the Capitol, they kicked it up to a domestic terrorist charge because they're trying to say it wasn't a riot, it was an insurrection, which it wasn't. So these people, grandmas, are getting 20 years in prison, 30 years, 40 years, or whatever. Now, anybody that committed violence on that day, they deserve jail for that. Maybe not to the extreme they were given, but they're making an example of people because of politics. But if you try to say grandma walking through with a selfie shouldn't be prosecuted, they always bring up, well, what about the cops that got attacked? And was I talking about cops that got attacked? No, I was talking about a grandma walking through the Capitol taking pictures. So this is all politically charged. It's like if you question an election result, you get labeled an election denier, when I actually believe most elections are fine. I'm not an election denier. I'm in favor of election integrity, which at times is not what it should be. So we're not allowed to say that anymore. You get labeled as something. So anyway, sometimes people are just weird. Look at this guy. Look at this guy's lawn right here. He's got 2 lawn signs. Each one of these two people are running against each other, and this person's got both of them. So he's probably married. Wife wants one, he wants the other, I would hope. Or he's kooky. So anyway, election fallout for North Carolina. Flip this around. We need to talk about that. You're going to see articles come out, and they're going to talk about how... I seen one article that said, well, Asheville, North Carolina, affected by Hurricane Helena, is mostly Democrat, so it's not going to hurt Trump. Listen, this is going to hurt Trump, okay? And the reason why it will is because much of the affected area from Asheville to the western part of North Carolina into Tennessee is Trump country. Most of these people affected by this are Trump voters, okay? They live out in the countrysides. They're not in Asheville, the city. They're in the general area. And they're not going to have a way to go vote, it looks like. Now, in fairness, the government in North Carolina has stated that they will actually, they said they were going to accommodate voters, come up with an absentee voting system, and arrange new emergency polling places, and they're going to make sure people vote. That's what the government in North Carolina said. Take them at their word for it. And it is an opportunity for them to cheat. And there will be no way around that, unfortunately. Now, the good news is Trump may be leading enough in North Carolina where it's not going to matter, because, you know, we're talking about a few thousand votes. And it affects things like they want to extend the deadline for registering to vote. And they also want to extend, all right, now this is important, they are still currently assessing, they said. So it's important to realize that. But they're talking about extending the voting day deadline for absentee voting. What does that mean? Well, that means that if they do that, the votes in North Carolina aren't going to be known on election day. That's what that means. So, and I'm sure you can see the potential problem that may cause with people trusting the election for simple reasons. One, no matter what you use for an electoral college battleground state model, if you go to 270 to win, make your own map, no matter what you come up with on there, for the most part, if you use current polling, it basically comes down to North Carolina, mainly Pennsylvania. So Trump can win Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, lose Pennsylvania, lose Michigan, lose Wisconsin, lose Minnesota, and still win if he wins North Carolina. So that is still possible, regardless. I mean, if things went really bad, I guess is what I'm getting at. Things are worse for Kamala Harris. She has to win a lot. She has to win Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania, or lose one of those and win North Carolina. So regardless of the hurricane that we had and all that stuff, Trump is still in a great position. Don't panic. And you'd have to look at the Electoral College map to see what I mean. Pretty much the races are pretty well set right now. They may tighten a little bit between now and voting day, and I'm still going to maintain and reiterate that almost all of the polling is favoring Kamala, and she's not doing well even when favoring her. So they're definitely playing politics, whether it's intentional or just natural bias because they hate Trump, these polling companies. They're not doing the job they should be doing. They did this in 2020. They did it in 2016. They were off by a lot. Perfect example was Wisconsin. Biden was supposed to be ahead by 7.5 points in Wisconsin. He ended up winning by 0.3%. So they were 7 points off in Wisconsin for Biden with Trump. They didn't realize Trump was as popular as he is, and there's still the same thing going on today. If you listen to the media, read articles, watch it, Kamala's got this in the bag. Trump's, and that's not what the numbers say. Any fool, anybody at their laptop at the kitchen table can go find out the same information. It's just not the case. And this isn't my own brilliant deduction I came up with. This is a non-mainstream media consensus from people involved in elections, people that do this for a living and have for years, are saying that, you know, they got it wrong again. So they have not been able to figure out a way to poll Trump voters, because Trump voters don't want to talk to these people. They don't want to be involved with them. They just want to go vote. So this is going to be really interesting to see how this all shakes out, obviously. So we got got someone burning brush over here, or they just finished. I see smoke coming up. So I love how wood smells when it's burning. So we have a lot of things coming that are going to be strange and different. We're definitely not going to know who won in Pennsylvania on election night, but we might have a general idea. And what I mean by that is, I'm fully expecting less Trump voters to show up on voting day this year than in the past, because Republicans have been telling people, don't wait until voting day to go vote, especially since the Department of Homeland Security, okay, DHS again, with Mayorkas, who's been impeached, that none of us trust, has stated that we are at a high level alert for election meddling through hacking. Anytime between now and election day, he said. Well, all that tells me is if they want to interfere with the election through hacking, they're going to do that. They've already announced the possibility. So if you vote now and vote early, you can get your vote in the bank. So on a paper ballot. That's the best thing about voting by mail. It's on paper. So they haven't found a way to hack paper ballots yet. But after the ballots are scanned, I don't know how secure their electronic data is from it being changed or not. That I don't know. So anyways, I'm gonna flip this around. I'll walk down this way. Beautiful autumn day. Some of these leaves that turned early are coming off now. Car coming up behind us. I'm gonna cut across here. Beautiful day. You can see. Beautiful day today. So, as stated, I don't know how things are going to shake out for the election in North Carolina, but don't assume that because Asheville is mostly Democrats, it doesn't affect Trump. I'm telling you emphatically it does. If you're familiar with Scott Pressler, the person working the ground game in Pennsylvania, he's very concerned about it. And the GOP has already dispatched attorneys to make sure that everything is done up to snuff and there's no shenanigans. And this is something we could have done without it this time. But hurricane season is always a problem in October. This has happened in the past for local elections. It hasn't happened for presidential ones. It's been, presidential ones every 4 years. We did have one that impacted New Jersey before when Obama was running. And Chris Christie was photo-oped with Obama doing a bipartisan hurricane thing, which ended up helping Obama just before an election. There was a lot of flooding and people died, if you remember that. And this time we have a president nowhere to be found. Vice president went to a fundraiser. Nobody seemed to be very concerned until the media started asking where people were. So they obviously did not think it was an alarming issue. I'm pretty sure they thought, as I stated, it was a Category 1 that turned into a tropical rainmaker. They figured it wouldn't be a big deal, but there were 70-mile-an-hour winds, 20 inches of rain, and it was a big storm. So, and the thing is, though, is people on the ground in North Carolina are not lying when they say that FEMA is there confiscating help and not letting people help. That is not a lie. So they can try to claim it to be one if they wish. That simply is not the case. So we got a nice looking tree here. Beautiful tree. Wanted to make sure I got that in a shot. Doesn't it look pretty? Like a postcard. So, anyway, that's my thoughts on that stuff. I think people are rightful to be concerned about how it affects the election. Can it cause Trump to lose the election? Yeah, if it's a really close election. We're not talking about votes that make up the entire state, and the bigger cities like Asheville that are Democrat, they're going to have a way to vote. Polling places will be set up if they have to make new ones. So people are going to be able to vote, okay? I guess is my point. And it's still a month away. So we'll keep an eye on what they're going to do. The Georgia governor has already announced that they will make new polling places in Georgia. Tennessee is doing similar. So I think people are going to realize the importance of this and do what they're supposed to, so people can vote. So be concerned about it, but don't worry about it, okay? Not yet, anyway. That's all I wanted to get out there today. So, excuse me. Other issues. Trump is speaking in Butler, Pennsylvania today. RFK is going to be there. I like him a lot. There's some things about his policies I don't like, but he's genuine and he's not BSing. He genuinely believes what he's saying and he's honest about it. And that's all you want from people, really. Instead of this disingenuous flip-flopping Kamala Harris weirdo and her husband. Now the new news that came out was that somebody that was dating him before claims that he slapped her really hard. He hit her. And I guess there were witnesses. So their entire campaign is suspect. These people should not be where they are, with their hands on the White House and the button, as it were. And so this is a dire emergency, folks. You got to get people to go vote. Now, what's his face? Tim Walz was got caught lying again, as you saw in that debate about being in Tiananmen Square in China in 1989, when that horrible event happened, when a educated college professor in China dissented against the Communist Party and decided to go pro-democracy. He was killed by the Gestapo, the Communist Party. And that's what kicked off that whole protest movement. They martyred him and it angered all those college students. And some of those college students died. They laid their life down literally in front of tanks. It was brutal. It was nasty. And so that's China. Now, Tim Walz said he was in China with students doing a high school teaching overseas thing with his students, which he did. Problem is, he went there about 4 days after that happened, and he was never at Tiananmen Square, and he got caught lying about it. So, and then he tried to, pass it off as, oh, well, sometimes I'm just a knucklehead. Well, when September 11th happened, I know where I was. I knew what time of day it was. I found out. I knew I remember what I saw on TV when it happened. I remember who I spoke to on the phone. I remember that whole day, everything that I did that day to make sure people that I care about, who were working in Connecticut at the time, close to New York City, because it wasn't fully known the extent of everything that happened yet. So I remember everything that day. Tim Walz is somebody that shows up on September 14th to look at what happened and then exaggerate and extend it to I was there on the 11th. That is the difference with this Tiananmen Square story, and why they have silenced him from talking with people since he got caught on the stolen valor story. I mean, he's been caught already in a bunch of bullshit lies that he's told. And also at the debate, he said his son witnessed in a volleyball center, witnessed a shooting. That turns out that didn't happen either. The shooting happened outside, and he was inside at the time, was never in any danger, and didn't witness anything. So everything with these people is a lie. And because Tim Walz is an idiot. He's a low IQ person. He's one of those uncles that tell wild tales, and that's not who we want for vice president. So And I want to credit J.D. Vance for not embarrassing him on the stage and looking like the bad guy. He just said, "Oh wow, I didn't know that about you, your son. Gosh, I'm really sorry. You know, God, Jesus," he said, "you know, that's horrible." Making a mental note of that during the debate. He did that intentionally, by the way. And because then people would go fact check it, which they did. So they got caught lying again. J.D. Vance is brilliant. So look how beautiful these trees look. I am just going to be quiet and let you see the view. How's that? For a little bit. So we'll check that out. So that was nice of that person there to slow down. As you can see, this is really starting to look pretty today. Maine certainly is a whole lot of beautiful. This road's even pretty in the wintertime after a snowfall. We're not going to be walking on it though, but if you can imagine walking like this with no sidewalks, and you get a snowbank here that they plowed up, so I'd actually be walking like right here in the road. The room it takes up, and then during the day when the sun hits it, the snow and ice will turn into slush. And then a car goes by and you scoot off to the side so it goes by, and then when it goes by it splashes you with slush. So not always, but you get the idea. So I also wanted to point out, if you were on this route with me the last time, I found a Holy Bible that belonged to somebody. Their name was inside the Bible. It was a gift gifted to this person in 2002. And also had the date of 2008 on there inside. And I tried to track the person down that owns it through social media and an internet search. Couldn't find anything. I always wondered what the hell's in here. Probably nothing. But there's this little cubby hole here. Yeah, there's nothing in here. No path or anything. It's just a cubby hole, but you got this little opening here on the side of the road. It looks like people come in here, so I don't know what they do in here. Maybe I don't want to know. Might be a shortcut to somebody's backyard or something. I don't know. But I just wanted to snoop. So anyway, Finish out this walk today. We've still got a lot of nice vista left. But I could not find the owner of that Bible or any relatives. Not anybody in Maine. All the name searches I did for that came up with Louisiana, Texas. I'm not going to give their name out over here on this video. But I will keep an ear out. My guess is because it was addressed to grandchildren. 2008. It mentions grandchildren entered in it. I would assume that that is 18 years ago. 14 years ago, excuse me. 16 years ago. So it's one of those kind of deals. So they I don't know how the Bible ended up on the side of the road. It looked like it had some scrapes on it, like it was thrown out of a moving car. I don't know why that would happen. It's not something that would blow out of a vehicle. No, we'll flip this back around. There we go. So, with that, I don't know who the hell it belonged to. Interestingly, though, the string bookmark in the Bible was across the part of the Bible discussing living in sin and also adultery. So I found it interesting that it was bookmarked on the sections that would cause problems in a marriage or people doing sinful things that they shouldn't be doing. Don't know if that has anything to do with it, but that's just where the Bible was bookmarked. So, probably nothing. Probably a coincidence. Now I'm assuming this person was a pastor. So that was another search I was doing just because of how things were handwritten inside it. Certain passages were marked. Could have been somebody just making notes about passages that they need to read more. Or it just might have been a self-note when somebody is up giving a sermon, they can refer to that and then flip to that page. So it's probably something like that. We'll never know. But anyway, we'll shift gears a little bit. We'll go back to election talk. I wanted to talk about Carol Lee Clement, aka Lee Clement, running in this district as a Republican to unseat the Democrat that I got annoyed with on my past walks, the gun grabber. This guy is former law enforcement. He's a safety officer at a gun range. He's a very good guy. He's city council, retired from it. He lost his re-election. And he was content with not running for office. And then somebody came to him and asked him if he wanted to run because the Lewiston guy I told you about, the gun grabber, decided he wasn't going to run. And then, so they approached Clement and said, well, you can run for this district. Lewiston is stepping down. It shouldn't be too much for you to win it. So, of course, when the Democrats heard that, they went and talked to Lewiston and talked him back into running again. So now you got these two guys running against each other. And both of them were content with retiring Lajoie is in a wheelchair half the time. Physically, he's not doing well, and but they asked him to run. He said he was going to retire after the Democratic Party chastised him for not supporting the trans bill. So the Democrat would not vote for the trans bill, and the party made him pay for that. They said, "You're finished," and he said, "Well, I don't care. I'm retiring. I quit anyway." Now they went and asked him. So after screwing him over like that, he goes, "Yeah, okay, I guess I'll do it." He should have said, "No, I will though, as a Republican." He could have done that. So these people are weirdos. And I know he used to be the fire chief here, I get it. But he's wishy-washy and soft. Now the other thing I talked to Clement about is he was on city council. He's very familiar with city ordinances. And I told him about these signs up ahead we're going to pass. These signs posted on public land. And he said, that's illegal. They're not supposed to do that. And the signs, like signs, are supposed to be within 30 feet distance of one another. But you're not supposed to post political signs on public property. And look what we have. These are political signs on public property. You can only post them on private land. Now, don't know who owns this land, but the city does. And this is where a sidewalk would go. This should be public property that I'm walking on right here that these signs are on. So these should not be here. And Clement said he was going to do something about it. And he said shortly, the ones that were on display outside Hannaford Supermarket downtown, well, not downtown, but further in town, Lewiston, he said those signs aren't going to be there long. Because not only are they less than 30 feet apart, they shouldn't be there. So the supermarket does not own the sidewalks. So that's kind of like the internal war that's going on. That's insider info I got directly from the person running for office with regard to Lajoie wanting to quit after getting screwed over by his party. And basically, he's decided to get back in it because they asked him. Like all was forgiven. So there you have the nature of politics, friends. So I also told Mr. Clement that if he actually wins, he's really not going to hear from me very often because Lajoie used to hear from me all the time. I'd send him a number of emails, I'd call him, and I will say that Lajoie actually took the time to listen and on the phone when you'd speak with them and you express your concerns. But he's a wishy-washy, spineless person. Obviously has no solidified convictions whatsoever. He'd rather just votes of something to make his party happy, and if the courts say it's illegal, then they do. If they don't, then well, my vote was good. That's exactly who you don't want in government. You want people that have ethics, morals. They're going to do the right thing, even when it's a difficult decision, regardless of the crap you get from your party. And that's the system we have. If you're an independent, you don't really have to answer to anybody, but you also don't get the money to run, and you get ignored by the media because the media is there to help Democrats. So until that system changes, we have to play it. That's why Trump ran as a Republican and not an independent, because if he had run as an independent, he would not have won in 2016. But he is an independent. RFK is an independent. He's an old school Democrat that no longer exists. That party is dead. It's gone. around. Man, everybody. Here's a car coming up ahead. I'll scoot off to the side a little bit. I'll walk right on the edge of the grass. No sidewalks. So we'll mosey on this way. Beautiful day today. The sun is starting to pop out now. Sun on my face. Still hear acorns falling in the woods. Now I did take off from yesterday walking. Did not walk yesterday, which was good. I needed a day of rest, and I'm feeling the benefits of that today for sure. So we'll go with that. So we should have fun shooting tomorrow. We have a lot of items to shoot. Water jugs and all kinds of stuff. Should be a hoot. I'm going to be shooting the Mini 14 with the tactical stock on it, which is a folding stock. I won't shoot it folded, but I'm just stating that's the one I'm using. And I'm using it because it weighs almost 2 pounds more than a traditional stock. Really solid and really steady when you're taking aim at something to snipe, which is why I want to use it. Very accurate with it when I do that. And I'm going to be shooting Remington 223 Remington, I should say. Pointed soft points. They're about 3,200 and something feet per second. Pretty good. Got some pretty good hop to it. And those are the ones that drop down to about 2,400 feet per second at about 140 yards. So the velocity at the muzzle is about 3,200, 3,250, 3,290 something, whatever it was. And I'm assuming they were using a 20-inch barrel. But very good ammunition, made by Federal. Not very expensive. It's a 50-round box for $30. And they're excellent velocity and great expansion when they hit. The other ones that I shot that were inexpensive were PMC bronze pointed soft point 223s. Excellent accuracy and consistency, and they did as much damage as 7.62 by 39 or 30-30 soft point bullets, which 30-30 is a soft point anyway by design. Excellent round, by the way, for shooting jugs. 30-30s, highly recommended. Those are actually my favorite, but I'm telling you, the damage done by the 223 pointed soft points, excellent. So we'll flip this around and record. We just hit 3.5 miles, according to the woman in my ear in my app. Let's see how this hole in the road is doing. It's a good 18-inch by 2-foot hole under here that's been washed out. And this hole gets a little bigger and bigger. You can see some leaves and pine needles in there. You can't see underneath, but I shined a light in there before and stuck my face down by the hole, which I'm not going to do today. And you can actually see under there. So eventually that's going to be a big giant gaping pothole that somebody's going to ruin their tire on, their whole wheel when they hit it. Probably bend their front end too. But that's the one I made a video clip and I sent it to the city in an email and never heard back. So that big tractor that was here is over here now. They have it blocking off the road. I'm wondering if this is going to be the entryway to the new I saw that the city permitting, somebody had acquired a permit to make a junkyard, an automotive junkyard or salvage yard. I'm wondering if that's what's going in there. I guess they had to get some kind of EPA permit or something because of oils and gasoline containing vehicles being salvaged or some damn thing. Who knows nowadays? These little gnats bothering me. As soon as I start getting sweaty eyebrows, these little bugs come around. It's like they can sense it. I got that Trump sign across the street. Saw somebody drive by earlier. She slowed down looking at the Trump flag outside the house, and I couldn't tell if she was angry or happy she saw it. I think she wanted to see it because it has an image of Trump coming up, pumping his fist after being shot. I'm going to reiterate to you guys, okay? Nobody has something like that happen. And over here, don't know what kind of bird that is, but to give you size, it's a big bird. It's dead. Don't know what happened to it. I don't know if that's an eagle. Not a bald eagle, but there's other kinds. Let me know what you think that is. I'm going to do a still shot of that. after I get home, and I'll do an internet search and see if it hits on anything. It's awfully big, but it's definitely not the size of a full-size eagle, so it would have to be a young one, or it's some kind of hawk. It's probably a hawk. I don't know why it's dead on the side of the road. Might have got hit by a car, but it's off to the side of the road, so I'm hoping nobody killed it illegally and then dumped it out there. But that was not here 2-3 days ago when I walked through here the last time. That's what I've always said. You always see something different when you go walk. There's always something going on. So up ahead here, we'll go check out that log road that was man-made. See how the foliage looks out that way. Where the hogs are, if you remember the pigs. We'll go say hi to the oinkers. Now the leaves are looking pretty. See that? That looks gorgeous. I like that. It's got that maple leaf smell too. That sweet maple tree smell. All right, have a car coming. Go off to the side here. I want to go check out where the hogs are, take a look at the countryside. We just hit 4 miles. According to the woman in my ear. Whew. Feeling really good today. A lot of that fatigue I was feeling in my lower back and stuff, I don't feel it today. I just needed a day of rest. The other thing I did today is I got on a scale. Like I said, I weigh myself in the morning, not wearing anything. And that is your best weight that you're going to get for the day to give you your true body weight. And I was 225. 225. So that's another 3 pounds I've lost in 2.5 months. So that's not a big dramatic weight loss. That's about how you should lose weight from exercise. You shouldn't lose a whole bunch of weight all at one time. And if you do drop a lot of weight at one time, you might have something medically wrong with you, ranging from anemia to other more serious things. But this is the lowest weight I have been since I was probably 18 or 19. I don't know how many people can say that, but I can. So that makes all this walking worth it, and also changing my diet. Oh, I can hear somebody doing work. If they're working on that road, we're not going to go up it. I think they might be. No, that's just a landowner. That's a landowner. Looks like he's splitting wood. Getting ready for winter. So we'll go snoop over here today, see what kind of a view of the countryside we see. And this man-made wood road. I can tell looking at the hillsides up ahead, it's kind of hazy. There is a little bit of humidity in the air today, as we should say. It's about 65, 66 degrees. So I don't know what kind of bird that was we saw on the side of the road, but he definitely was not live. There's some chickens. You get chickens here. Chickens! Up this way we got some hogs. I smell them, but I don't see them. I don't see them today. All right. Pretty stiff breeze coming over this hill. A lot of foliage out there today. I'm gonna walk a little way down this way. Try to see if I can get a better view. Shove this up high. See behind me, really nice view of Maine. And I know this is going to look a lot further away than it really is, but even on here you should be able to see the trees that have turned. Countryside is starting to look really beautiful. So I just wanted to share that with you. Hope you're enjoying the walk with me. We walk down in this dirt road that we're on. So a lot of Maine is definitely Hickville. And like I said, this is the second most populated area in the state. So that's, you know, nobody lives here, which is okay. I kind of like it that way. You gotta drive 35-40 miles to go to a concert. We used to have concerts here until the city took over the ice hockey rink. The Civic Center, which is now called Le Colisée, which is the Franco-American heritage. So we got a little ways to go, but I hope you're enjoying walking with me today and the things we've discussed about. Don't panic about the election so much. Don't listen to the media. Tune out the noise. I'm telling you honestly, and I'm not going to lie to you, it's Trump's election to win. It's also his to lose. So now they keep talking about an October surprise. We still have a lot of October left. We don't know what these people are going to pull. We already seen them release new information about the documents case, well actually the January 6th case in Washington D.C. with Jack Smith. Since the documents case has gone away pretty much for all intent and purposes. So they're still interfering, and they're trying to come out with this report, and if you read it, two of the items he left in it, Trump has already been excused through the immunity clause, and they decided to, well, they're just going to leave it in there anyway. And Trump's legal team had until the 10th of October to file their motions and all that stuff. But Judge Chutkan, Obama appointee, she hates Trump, so she bumped it ahead up to today, and we know why she did that. We did that because J.D. Vance beat the hell out of Tim Walz in that debate, and literally the next day, to change the news cycle, they released that. So that's the warfare they're playing. It's fine. Let them play dirty pool. Every time they do this, it actually helps Trump in the polls. I guess they haven't learned their lesson yet. So, we'll get off these rocks here. So that's just the stuff we're going to have to deal with. Right now, Hurricane Helene is turning into Kamala's Katrina. Remember I said that. The October surprise may have already happened with the hurricane and the efforts made by FEMA and the lying that's going on about it. Between now and the election, that's going to come out. And now we don't have social media suspending people for that anymore. And also, very important to note, states like Georgia have implemented election changes for election integrity since the last election. And we also don't have mass mail-out ballots because of the pandemic like we did before. Now, I do know that in North Carolina, they mailed out 40,000 absentee ballots to people that requested absentee ballots to the affected areas that were affected by the hurricane. So a lot of those absentee ballots are gone, okay? Their houses are gone. So it's going to be understandable they're going to have to send out another 40,000 or just tell people to show up at a poll and vote. Either way, this is going to affect voter turnout, and it's going to be negative against Trump. So people that don't have their lives together yet, maybe voting won't be important to them at the time. You know, their house is buried in mud, they lost 10 family members, whatever. So that's just, it is what it is. So the good news is Trump can still win if he loses North Carolina but wins Pennsylvania. That's the good news. So Trump's in a good spot, let's just put it that way. It'd be a lot easier if everything was nice and smooth as silk all the time, but that never seems to happen when Trump does it. So fight, fight, fight. Anyway, we'll do a little bit more walking here and I'll sign off with you. Almost done my walk today anyways. Hope you had a good chat with me today. I enjoyed it. And I'll flip this around again. And we are going to have Halloween coming up this month. That's always a lot of fun. So may or may not go walking on Halloween night. Probably will. I might even wear a costume. Wouldn't that be funny? Well, we'll go up here. But don't bet your money on it. If I get asked to go to a Halloween party or something like that, I'll probably do that instead, but I'm just saying the option's open. So, with that, I'm going to wind down this walk. We're going to have another nice view of some fall foliage up ahead. As you can see, the tree up ahead here is on fire. Look at that. Ooh, that's gorgeous. Jesus. We'll cross over here. So my health right now is excellent. It's really good. I can walk all these miles and I'm not really feeling much of it today. That's good. And all just from taking one day off, you know. Sometimes you just need a day off. It looks like this guy's tomatoes are just about done doing what they're gonna do. Hi, how are you? There we go. Got a new battery in here. Look how nice this tree looks. Countryside out there. This way. Well, turned out to be a nice day. Back to the ranch, get ready to watch the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Should be interesting to watch. So the basic summary is, we'll talk about on here as we walk out the rest of this walk, is that if you know people that haven't voted, make sure they go vote. If they have any questions about why they should vote for Trump, try to take some time to explain it. Chances are they're not going to want to hear it or even talk to you about it. But I guess you can't force anything on people. As we just literally just hit 5 miles as I was talking. Now, a lot of these people have been told by the media and polling that Kamala's winning, and she's not. So they are going to be very disappointed. So we shall see what we shall see. Like this right here. Those are signs on public property that shouldn't be there. And her campaign has been doing that. It's illegal for those to be there. I was told they're going to be enforcing that. So a lot of those signs are going to be disappearing. Campaigns are going to be told to go remove those signs. So anyway, get people to go vote. And I just wanted to say thank you for walking with me. Click like and subscribe. Share the content. And tell people to go vote. Every place you go online, just make some kind of post somewhere or reply reminding people to go vote. Very important this year. So anyway, thanks a lot for walking, and we'll see you on the next walk, everybody. Bye-bye. I'm going to go watch Uncle Trump at the rally right now in Pennsylvania, and I hope you do too. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.